Okay, let's pull a card for today. What's the vibe today? It's a full moon in Leo. This is my new crystal bestie. I bought her the other day. I'm very excited. But I decided to pull out the Spirit Messages Oracle deck. I'm Grace. I'm a psychic medium. Let's get a little message for the moment. So whether you're coming across this video today, which is January 25th, or any other time, I just open up this message to be found by anyone who needs to receive it in this moment. So let's shuffle her. This deck is, called Spirit Messages Daily Guidance. So we all have spirit guides. We all have loved ones in spirit that connect to us. I'm a medium, so I see a lot of spirits. You don't need to see them. You don't need to even really have a physical experience with them to trust and believe and to know that they are there helping you. So you don't have to have this profound experience to know that spirit is with you. So just be open to new possibilities. Our message is vulnerability. Is it difficult for you to open up your emotions with others? Is it difficult to open up those emotions with yourself? That's a real deep one. You want something, you feel something, you have pain, you have shame, you have guilt, but it's hard to even admit it to yourself. That's what we need to break through. It's first having that experience, that conversation with yourself. What's the real truth behind it? Can you slow down enough to listen to your feelings? You're on TikTok right now, so I know that you're scrolling away. Can you take time to slow down to listen to what you're feeling? And when you're feeling these emotions, when you have these stories to share, these things to experience with another, love, joy, pleasure, pain, fear, anger, good and bad spectrum of emotions. But is it hard for you to express yourself? I saw this TikTok the other day from Emily, what's her name? Emily Dog or something. But she was talking about, it was an ad for therapy. And it was the joke was being vulnerable with your friends, and how you're saying I'm just having the worst fucking day of my life right now. I feel fucking horrible. And you're just laughing through the experience that you're having. Is it hard to even express that you are having a difficult time right now? If I can find the TikTok, I will repost it so people can see it. But that's what it reminds me of. Is it hard to even share your truest feelings with yourself, your partner, your family? Again, yourself, that's the one that keeps coming up. Your friends. For me, sometimes it's easier to be vulnerable with my podcast, with my TikTok, with my classes, with my meditations and all these things I do. I can be very vulnerable and open, but it's harder for me to have that conversation with my dad or something. I probably would never even have the conversation with my dad because he's not going to listen to it. And that's a whole nother story. So, allow yourself to be vulnerable and share your true feelings, but also know that not everyone is willing and ready to be vulnerable with you, aka my dad, your dad probably too. Someone in your life, you might not feel like you receive that reciprocity. Is that the right? I don't think that's the right word, but that your receptivity, there's a word for it. They're not putting down what you're picking up. So it feels hard to even share because you're okay, well, no one's listening to me. So that's when we need to go. That's where we need to go back to ourselves and say, am I even listening to me? Am I even listening to my needs? Both physically, emotionally, mentally. Am I hungry right now? Am I thirsty right now? Have I taken a shower? Have I done these things I need to do to feel good for myself? Have I connected with spirit today? And also, have I really done what I need and desire today, rather than, I have my 30 things on my to-do list I have to get done? are you actually present when you're doing them? So when you go into that meditative space, be willing and be ready to be vulnerable, not only with yourself, but with spirit. If you feel like it's difficult to have these conversations of vulnerability with another, have this conversation with God. Have this conversation with your spirit guides, your loved ones, your higher self, whatever your belief system is, but have that conversation first with yourself and with God, because that's going to make it a lot easier to welcome in this type of vulnerability with others. Don't you want to have the type of friends, partners, lovers, family in your life that you can be your truest self with, good, bad, ugly, and different? That's something that I have wanted and am striving towards. And I have a lot of beautiful friends in my life, but it's allowing myself to share and not just be the one that helps others. So that is something that I want you to keep in mind too. You don't always have to just be the one to listen. Sometimes you need to talk and you need to break up shit in your throat. A big thing that keeps coming through and for collectively right now is like, we are opening up the heart in order to continue evolving further up so we can open up our throat to speak our truth and speak from our heart. It's not easy to be vulnerable, and there's such a, on social media, like such a authenticity. I'm vulnerable. Like, here's a picture of me crying. Like, here's a picture of my fat rolls. Like, I feel like people put on this vulnerability. And I don't think that's true for every single person who comes online, because there's a lot of real ones out there, and shout out to you. But I just want us to look at the difference between authentic vulnerability and like putting on a show, putting on a show so that people can see us and witness us, but we don't actually have to be vulnerable. Talking to me too. Like, if I do a podcast episode and I'm emotional in the podcast, like, I feel good about that, but it doesn't mean I actually had that conversation that I needed to have. Maybe I did with myself, but I didn't like talk to my family or whatever I needed to do to let that shit out. So that's our message. This is a confirmation that you're seeking to tread into the unknown, unfamiliar territory where decisions are based more on intuition than rationality. Don't let fear hold you back or allow a misguided sense that feeling vulnerable is somehow a negative condition. I think like that goes back to our like instincts, like back in the day where we're like, I'm standing in the middle of a field and I feel so vulnerable, but now because there might be a mountain lion or something lurking behind me, or might be someone who's trying to fish the same fish as me and I have to fight to death for my fish. It's like these instincts inside of us that we don't feel comfortable. Reminding you, like, you are here present in the now, in your physical body, in the now, in this now moment. So don't be afraid of the unknown. That's the biggest block to connecting to your spirit guides, your spirituality, your intuition, is being scared of the unknown. And that's something that I am continuing to work through. Of like, well, I don't know what it looks like, but that doesn't have to be terrifying. That could be, wow, I don't know what it looks like yet. I don't know what it looks like yet, but it's going to be fabulous, baby. It's going to be fabulous, sexy, amazing, fun, joyful, pleasurable, amazing. It's going to be better than you ever expected. Okay, so this is our message for today. And look at that, the heart, opening up the heart for new growth. So I hope you have a wonderful day. I'm teaching Reiki today. I'm recording podcasts today. And I hope that you have some moment in your day where you can stop and reflect on this message. So love you. Bye.